Have you ever asked yourself what happens when a genuinely good person's life just completely falls apart? Well, we're about to dive into one of the oldest stories ever told that tackles that exact question. It's a journey that really forces us to look at a question that people have been wrestling with for thousands of years.
I mean, seriously, what happens to what you believe when everything, and I mean everything you care about, is just gone? The story of Job isn't just some ancient tale. It's like a mirror. It reflects our own struggles with why bad things happen and how we're supposed to find any meaning when life just stops making sense.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Before the storm hits, you've got the calm. And in that calm, we meet Job. This guy is the absolute picture of success and goodness. He's living a life that, from the outside, looks completely and totally blessed.
And when I say blessed, I mean the scale is just staggering. Look at this. He had a huge family, 10 kids in total, which was a sign of incredible fortune back then. And his wealth? We're talking about a massive enterprise, thousands upon thousands of animals, and a whole army of servants to manage it all. By any standard you can think of, this guy had it all.
But here's the really crucial part. His money didn't define him. What he was really known for was his character. The story makes a huge point of telling us he was a man of integrity, upright, someone who truly revered God and just stayed away from evil. His reputation for being a good person was even bigger than his massive fortune.
And this is where the story takes a wild turn. We shift from Job's life on earth to a cosmic stage. A conversation is about to happen up in the heavens that is going to change everything for him, and he has absolutely no idea it's coming. So here's the setup for the whole conflict. You've got God pointing to Job as this prime example of human faithfulness. But then you have this cynical voice, Satan, who comes back with a challenge. He basically argues, yeah, of course he's faithful. You've given him everything. His faith is just a business transaction. Take all that stuff away, and I bet he'll curse you right to your face. And just like that, the wager is on. And with that cosmic bet made, the test begins. What happens next is one of the most brutal, rapid-fire successions of tragedy you can possibly imagine. In a single day, Job's entire world is about to just disintegrate.
So, bam, the first wave hits. A messenger comes running in, totally out of breath. The news? Raiders have attacked, they've stolen his oxen and donkeys, and they've killed the servants who were with them. It's a huge financial hit right out of the gate.
But he doesn't even have a second to process that. Before the first guy is even done talking, a second messenger shows up. This time, it's a fire from the sky, a freak act of nature that has completely incinerated all 7,000 of his sheep and the shepherds watching them.
And the onslaught just keeps coming. A third messenger arrives. Another group of raiders, the Chaldeans, have swooped in and stolen all 3,000 of his camels, which were like the backbone of his wealth, and killed even more of his people.
And then, the final blow. The one that's just unthinkable. While all 10 of his children were together, eating and celebrating, a massive windstorm hit the house, and it collapsed. All of them dead. In an instant, his wealth, his legacy, his entire family, gone. So how does a person even respond to that? Does he scream? Does he curse God, just like Satan predicted? Nope. In this moment of absolute devastation, he tears his clothes, shaves his head, signs of deep mourning, and then he falls to the ground and worships. His very first response isn't blame. It's this profound statement of acceptance and faith.
You'd think that would be the end of it, but the test isn't over. Satan basically argues, okay, fine, he lost his stuff, but let me touch his own body, then he'll break for sure. So the trial enters this new, deeply personal and agonizing phase.
Job is suddenly struck with these excruciating boils all over his body from head to foot. He's an outcast sitting in a pile of ashes in constant searing pain. It gets so bad that even his own wife tells him to just give up, curse God, and die. But still, he refuses. It's at this low point that his 3 friends show up. And what starts out as a gesture of comfort quickly turns into a new kind of torture. See, they have this very simple, very rigid idea. Suffering is always a punishment for sin. So their logic is, Job, you're suffering horribly, therefore you must have secretly done something terrible to deserve it. Just confess. But Job, in all his pain and confusion, holds on to one thing, his innocence. And right there, in the absolute pit of despair, with his body failing and his friends basically ganging up on him, Job makes this unbelievable declaration of hope. He says that somehow, some way, he knows that God will ultimately vindicate him,
that justice will win in the end. It's an incredible moment. So after all the back and forth, all the accusations, and all of Job's desperate cries for an explanation, God finally answers. But it is not the answer anyone, especially Job, was expecting. He speaks out of a whirlwind, not to explain the suffering, but to completely flip Job's entire perspective on its head.
God doesn't give a neat little reason for everything. Instead, he just unleashes this torrent of questions. He isn't answering Job's question of why me. He's completely challenging the idea that a human being could even begin to understand the why of the cosmos.
And the questions just keep coming, one after another, painting this picture of a universe so complex, so powerful, and so mysterious that Job's personal suffering, while totally real and horrible, is just one tiny thread in a tapestry that is way too big for him to see. It's meant to be humbling and, frankly, awe-inspiring.
And Job, he gets it. He's not apologizing for some secret sin he never committed. He's repenting for his small-mindedness, for demanding answers that were just way beyond his pay grade. He says, basically, I'd only ever heard about you before, but now I've seen you. It's this huge moment of transformation. He went looking for an answer, but what he found was God himself.
And so, having been through the fire, having been totally changed by this incredible encounter, Job's journey finally comes full circle. We get to this last chapter of restoration and redemption.
And get this, his fortunes aren't just restored, they're doubled. This isn't just about getting his old life back, it's symbolic of a complete renewal. He gets twice the livestock he had before, and he's blessed with a whole new family, 10 more kids. And it even mentions his new daughters were the most beautiful in the land.
His life is extended for another